Hello everyone, and welcome to my YNR Official 24 channel. Matt's hands were shaking, his heart beating fast like a crazy drum in his mind as he stared across the dark room at Victor, who sat there not knowing anything, drinking a glass of old scotch from a fancy leather chair. Jack was standing in the corner, hidden in the shadows, with that annoying smile playing on his lips. Finally, Jack said the words Matt had been waiting to hear for a time. "Go ahead, Matt. Do what you need to do." And in that moment, time sounded to underpinning, stretching each alternate into a continuance as Matt's eyes burned with an admixture of rage, treason, and a hopeless craving for justice, or maybe revenge, and he felt the weight of every demotion Victor had ever heaped upon him. The razzies, the manipulations, the times Victor had twisted the verity to make Matt look weak or foolish. The moments where he'd been dismissed, ignored, or worse, used like a pawn in some cruel game. And now the tables had turned, eventually, cruelly, perversely, and Jack, standing like a silent enabler, sounded to feed on the pressure as he leaned casually against the wall, watching Matt like a jingoist sizing up his prey, his stimulant like gasoline on a fire that Matt both stressed and embraced because the study of defying Victor head on, of eventually making him feel the fear, the query, and incompetence he'd foisted on so numerous, made Matt's heart race, and his mind whirl with both clarity and chaos, a dangerous blend that rumored that this was his moment, his chance to cock the scales formally and for all, and yet, indeed, as he stepped forward, every instinct screaming that crossing this line could mean losing himself ever, he couldn't ignore the dark exhilaration surging through him, the intoxicating power of having Victor within his grasp, eventually vulnerable, eventually mortal in a way Victor infrequently allowed himself to be. And Matt's jaw gripped, fists tensing at his sides as he considered the possibilities, the consequences, the unrecoverable conduct that lay just a twinkle down, while Victor, still smiling noiselessly, raised an eyebrow, seeing commodity in the air, that inexpressible pressure that made the room feel like it was shrinking, pressing in on them, thick with implied pitfalls and the kind of silence that makes your skin bottleneck. And Jack, still observing, his expression undecipherable, knew exactly what he was doing, knowing that releasing Matt into this charged atmosphere, giving him the green light to act on every pent-up frustration and pain, was an adventure that could destroy everything. And yet, for Jack, it was infectious because chaos was his element, and he thrived when the people around him were twisting, floundering with their morality, their rage, their desire for exculpation. And Matt, unconscious to Jack's manipulations but completely apprehensive of the graveness of the moment, felt a rush of adrenaline that made his head spin, each step toward Victor heavier than the last, loaded with times of undetermined wrathfulness, treason, and a creepy sense that nothing could ever be the same again, that this single act, this one cataclysmal choice, could shatter not just Victor's precisely constructed world, but Matt's own soul, and yet the fire within him refused to be extinguished. A grim blaze that rumored, "You earn this. He deserves this. You can eventually take control," and his mind, despite the chaos of feelings, calculated, strategized, counted options, possibilities, issues, consequences, while his heart beat like a war barrel against his caricatures, screaming that reason had no place in the storm of revenge, that the only thing that signified was the release, the satisfaction, the moment when Victor would eventually understand the depths of Matt's pain, the nights of insomniac solicitude, the demotion, the endless feeling of being overlooked. And as Matt's shadow fell across Victor's office, his aspect locked on the aged man, whose calm, arrogant countenance sounded nearly mocking in the face of Matt's seething intensity. The room itself sounded to hold its breath, the air thick with expectation and dread, and Jack, seeing the climax of his little unity, took a step back, allowing the drama to unfold, the pressure to escalate, because he knew that watching Matt scuffle with his moral boundaries, watching Victor defy the reality of being targeted, was more thrilling than any control he could ply directly. And as Matt's hand floated near the edge of what would be the final act, his mind flashed through recollections. Laughs participated, backstabbing suffered, moments of weakness, moments of courage, the faces of everyone who had signified the consequences of failure, the consequences of success, and in that moment, the world narrowed to a single point, a single decision, a line that formerly crossed, would change everything, and yet, the fire in his casket roared. Louder than reason, louder than sweat, louder than mistrustfulness, louder indeed than Jack's subtle, minatory stimulant, because Matt's rage was pure, unalloyed, forged through times of being trumped by Victor's pride, Victor's schemes, Victor's grim, suffocating control over everything and everyone, and he'd been patient, calculating, staying for this exact moment, and now it was then, and all the waiting, all the suffering, all the suppressed fury demanded release, demanded action, demanded that Victor eventually pay, in whatever way Matt saw fit, and his hand moved slightly, a earthquake betraying the weight of the moment, and Victor's eyes flitted with recognition, a spark of fear, surprise, maybe indeed respect, for in that moment, he understood the magnitude of the storm he'd unleashed through his own manipulations and atrocity, and Jack, watching from the murk, allowed a small, satisfied smile to coil his lips because he knew that formerly Matt acted. The ripple effect would be disastrous, reshaping alliances, burning islands, forcing everyone in Genoa City to review their commitment, their morality, their survival instincts, and Matt, feeling the earthquake of fortune beneath his bases, realized that nothing would ever be the same again, that once this line was crossed, there was no going back, no undoing the choice, only moving forward. And the weight of that consummation pressed on him indeed as his rage surged, indeed as the desire for revenge consumed him, indeed as Jack's shadowy stimulant nudged him ever closer to the point of no return, and in that moment, Matt felt contemporaneously alive and alarmed, intoxicated and affrighted, because the power to destroy Victor, to make him feel every ounce of fear, demotion, and helplessness he'd ever foisted on others, was now in his hands, and it was intoxicating, intimidating, infectious, a heady blend of feelings that made every twinkle thunder like a barrel, every breath feel stolen, every alternate stretch into eternity, and Victor, seeing the peril, leaned slightly forward, a flicker of recognition in his eyes, a silent computation, a split alternate assessment of Matt's intentions, his capabilities, his rage, knowing that if Matt acted, if Matt followed through, the consequences would be ruinous, for him, for Matt, for everyone caught in the crossfire of their involved histories, while Jack, ever the manipulator, ever the bystander, watched with a bloodsucker's tolerance, knowing that he'd set this chain of events in stir, and now only the ineluctable collision remained, and Matt, standing at the cliff, felt the capstone of times of frustration, treason, and craving for justice meet into a single, bedazzling moment of clarity, a moment where instinct and desire, rage and morality, fear and exhilaration collided in a storm of implicit destruction. And as he took a final step, the room sounded to contract, the walls closing in, the air electric with pressure, the world narrowing to the space between him and Victor, to the implied words and pitfalls that hung like a palpable thing between them, and in that moment, Matt realized, with both terror and grim satisfaction, that he was about to cross a line that could no way be uncrossed, that Jack had freed him not just physically, but innocently, emotionally, and psychologically, and that freedom was intimidating, inviting, exhilarating, because it meant he could eventually unleash the storm within, and Victor, seeing the shift, the impending battle, raised his eyes to meet Matt's, and for the first time, maybe really saw him, really understood the depth of his pain, his wrathfulness, his eventuality for desolation, and Matt, feeling every ounce of the weight of this moment, the lives tangled around it, the consequences of action and inactivity, knew that the coming move would define him ever, and with a final inhale, a twinkle suspended in eternity, he stepped completely into the moment, into the storm, into the reckoning, and the room sounded to fluctuate, the silence breaking into 1,000 possibilities as Matt prepared to do what he'd been erecting toward for so long, what Jack had so dangerously enabled, the capstone of every slight, every treason, every ounce of rage boiling over into one unrecoverable act, and in that moment, OMG, the pressure, the expectation, the drama of it all, felt like it could tear Genoa City piecemeal from the inside out, leaving nothing unchanged, nothing unscarred, as Matt prepared to unleash the fury that had been stewing in his soul for far too long, and the air itself sounded to crinkle with the pledge of disaster, revenge, and ultimate, irrevocable change. Jack made an offer to Matt for the intelligence. This was after Jack caught Matt. Now Nick's health is not doing well. Kane said that the artificial intelligence can hurt Newman. Jack gave Victor an offer after he caught Matt. Billy heard about Phyllis' new plan. At Crimson Lights, Audra touched Holden's chest. She said they can be friends again if she leaves Claire alone. She also said Holden has to keep quiet. Holden moved back. Said he knows Audra is trying to get what she wants by flirting. Audra thinks it is fun. She said they have always had a connection with each other. Audra remembers when they first met. She tells him that he posed for her a time ago when she wanted to be a famous artist. Audra says she saw him back then, and she still sees the real him now. They do not have to be enemies. Audra asks him, "Can we at least be friends with caution?" She laughs a little. Then Claire walks into the room. Audra says Happy New Year to Claire. Claire wants to know what is going on with Audra being so nice to him. Audra is sorry for everything she has done to Claire. Thinks they should just get along. Claire is really surprised by this. She does not believe what Audra is saying. Audra tells Claire to have a night. Then she leaves. Claire asks Holden what just happened. She thinks something is wrong. Holden says he has finally gotten Audra to leave Claire alone. Claire does not trust Audra. Holden tells her to try to be peaceful. Claire asks Holden how he changed Audra's mind. Holden says Audra is trying to protect her reputation, that is why Audra is being nice to Claire now. It seems like she is trying to trick Claire, who thinks he made a promise to Audra not to tell her what really happened in Los Angeles. Holden says he has everything under control. She does not need to worry about it. Then they kiss each other. At the GCAC, Kane asks Phyllis why she has not stolen the intelligence yet. Phyllis explains that she had a plan with Victor. Kane thinks Phyllis was silly to trust Victor. Phyllis wanted Victor to do the things, so she does not have to do them herself. She thought Victor would take care of everything. Kane is still confused about why she has not made her move. She says she needs his help. Then she says that is not true, she only wants them to be on the same page. She tells Kane that his blue eyes do not have any effect on her and that he needs to think about what he's doing. Kane asks Phyllis why she wants him to take down Victor. Phyllis explains that she does not have time to figure out how the artificial intelligence works. Kane is not ready to make a decision now. Phyllis wants him to make a decision soon because Kane changes his mind a lot. He tells her that he used to be really confused. Now he is not. Kane shows her the message the kids sent saying they want nothing to do with him.
Wow, she says.
He says he is done trying to get them to like him, and he is ready to be Dumas again. She is not sure if he really means it this time. Newman Enterprises is in trouble, he says. Phyllis says she can get into Newman's computer system. He says she does not need to do that. There is already something inside the AI that will make it attack its host. He just needs to give the order for the AI to attack Newman. She wants to know why he did not use it before. He says it would not have helped him get Lily and the kids, but that does not matter anymore. Oh my God, she says, we are going to take down Victor. At the hospital, Sharon tells Nick that the surgery went well. She says she is really tired of hospital rooms. She gets mad at him for doing things on his own. Sienna and Noah come to the hospital. His mom starts yelling at him for leaving. She thought he was a person, but he has been making some bad decisions. She tells him that there is a bad man outside who wants to hurt people. They go out into the hallway. They keep arguing. Sharon explains that Nick got hurt badly, but it could have been even worse than that. Sienna and Noah are there. They see what is happening with Nick and his family. His mom is still very upset with him for taking off like that. She would feel better if she could go 48 hours without someone getting hurt or kidnapped. They tell her what is going on with Matt. Sienna thinks this entire situation is her fault. Noah and Sharon tell her that none of this is Sienna's fault. Sharon just wants Victor to end this once and for all. Nick wakes up. He was having a dream that he was driving his mom's Ferrari fast. Then he crashed it. Sharon tells him that he only crashed his car. Okay, Nick says. He feels like he is floating in the air. She thinks he is walking with a crutch and tells him to wear a pirate costume that's really sexy. Noah stops them from talking about this. Nick wants to know where Matt is. Sharon tells all of them to stay from Matt. Noah asks his father what he was going to do with Matt. Nick says that is not important. Sharon is sure that all of this will make Matt want to get revenge more. She tells Nick that he needs to rest. Matt is going to be more determined to get revenge because of what Nick did to Matt. Noah and Sienna leave them alone. Talk about everything Sharon has gone through. Sienna thinks Sharon is really lucky to have such a family that cares about her. Sienna wants to put an end to all the trouble with Matt. Noah tells Sienna that they helped each other get away from Matt. Meanwhile, Sharon tells Nick to stop trying to be a hero and let Victor and the police take care of things. Then Nick gets a pain and asks Sharon to call a nurse for him. Adam welcomes Jack and Kyle to the ranch. They tell Adam that the police have caught Matt Clark and he is in custody now. Victor and Adam think Matt is not good for anything. Jack believes they really want Matt. He is not sure how much they are willing to do to get him. Adam wants to know how they found Matt. Jack tells them that he has seen Matt, and Matt says he is actually Mitch Bacall. Kyle says that they have been watching all the Newmans. Jack says he will give them Matt if they give him the intelligence. If Victor says no, then they will let Matt go. Adam says that Jack is not acting like himself. Jack says, "Do you want to bet on that?" Jack asks Victor if they have an agreement. Victor smiles at him. He tells Jack that if he lets him go, he will definitely find him. Jack does not think Victor should be so stubborn about this. Victor will not accept the deal that Jack is offering him. Nikki suddenly says that this has gone on long enough. Her husband tells her that he will take care of this situation. Nikki asks her husband to give Victor the artificial intelligence so they can get Matt out of their lives. Adam does not think Jack will really get rid of the intelligence. Jack says that they can get rid of the intelligence together. Nikki continues pleading with her husband. Victor wants proof that they have Matt. Matt is brought in by security. He lectures them for having no manners or hospitality. Victor tells him he won't get away this time. Jack reminds him that Matt is in his custody. Do they have a deal or not? Jack Abbott, ever the cunning strategist, made a shocking and innocently questionable offer. He basically put Matt on the log-rolling table in exchange for the mysterious AI that had formerly extorted annihilation on the lives of everyone connected to Newman Enterprises. The entire room felt charged with electricity, the air thick with unbelief, fear, and wrathfulness, as Matt, stupefied and alarmed, could slightly comprehend the enormity of Jack's decision. His mind contended through every possible escape, every implicit plea that could move Jack to review, but Jack's steely expression revealed nothing but calculated determination. Outside the room, whispers of unbelief spread like campfire, with bystanders and family members floundering to reuse the sheer audacity of Jack's proposition. The AI, important and changeable force whose reach extended far beyond simple commercial spying, had formerly demonstrated the capability to manipulate, force, and indeed harm people in ways that were unconceivable. Yet Jack's explanation was clear to him. He saw an occasion to eventually consolidate power and exclude a trouble that had impended over Newman Enterprises for far too long. Meanwhile, the emotional risk on Nick Newman, formerly under immense stress from the AI's earlier manipulations, began to manifest in ways that scarified everyone around him. Nick's health took an unforeseen and serious turn for the worse, transferring shockwaves through his family and Abetta's. His typically bent address wavered, replaced by visible prostration, anxiety, and asymptomatic vulnerability that made indeed the most seasoned business associates and family members break. Sharon, sitting by his side, gripped his hand as her own fear mixed with determination, trying desperately to keep Nick calm, while contemporaneously scuffling with the underpinning fear that Jack's plots might directly jeopardize Matt, whose fate now sounded perilously entwined with the AI's line. The unfolding extremity forced Kane to defy a verity he'd long suspected but had plotted to articulate. The AI wasn't just a tool or a bare piece of technology. It was